going to continue in our series, LOL. LOL. Lead out loud is what we want to focus on today. LOL. We looked the first week at love out loud. Jesus gave us a great example of what it is to love out loud. Then on last week, we looked at live out loud. There's not a such thing as a closet Christian. If you are a believer of Jesus Christ, then not only should you show some sign, it should be visible in your walk. It should be visible in your talk. It should be visible in your behavior and your attitude. I'm preaching good already. And then this week we want to look at lead out loud. Lead out loud. I was alarmed to find out that in the secular world, they are saying that there is a leadership shortage, that they are concerned about their company's future, because it appears that the pool of candidates for leadership is just not where it needs to be. The reason why I am alarmed at this shortage of leadership is because with all of the self-proclaimed leaders in the church, the world should be able to come to the church and find the leadership that they need. However, I would also say that the church is experiencing a leadership shortage. And the reason why I say that, Elder Venita, is because in the church, everybody wants to be in charge, while only a handful does the work. They call it the 80-20 rule, that 20% of the people does 80% of the work. Everybody has an opinion of how it should be done. Everybody has an idea of what the church should be doing, but nobody wants to help get it done. It seems like working in church today either requires a title or compensation. I'm not just up here every Sunday because I like to sing or because I think I'm a great singer. I just don't understand why I got to pay somebody else to sing praises to my God. I remember we used to just be happy to be in the house of the Lord. We used to be just happy to be able to serve in the house of the Lord. And now people have the audacity to want to sing and get paid. I asked somebody to come and dance and they want to get paid. So now I'm going to try to figure out how to get a dance together. I'm going to sing and dance. My wife is saying, no, sir. But I just don't understand how we have become so pompous. We have this take it or leave it mentality. In other words, if you don't want to pay me, the next church will. People have began to think more highly of themselves than they should. Can I tell you that God doesn't need any of us? He'll get the rocks to cry out, but before he has to go to the rock, here am I, cracking voice and all. I'll sing and do whatever I have to do to say, God, for you I'll live and for you I'll die. If you can use anybody, God, you can use me. If you need somebody, here am I, Lord, send me. My grandmother's been on the battlefield 90 years. And I'm telling you, she's still running for the Lord. She has not gotten tired yet. And I thank God that he continued to preserve her life. People are quick to identify themselves as a leader. Everybody's a leader. Well, if everybody's a leader, where are the followers? People are only quick to identify themselves as leaders because they think that it gives them some advantage over others. If you really knew what it took to be a real leader, you wouldn't be so quick to identify yourself as a leader. Because a leader is someone that will stand up when everybody else is still in the bed. They are the first one to get to church and the last one to leave. They are cleaning out the trash cans and cleaning out the toilet and picking up trash off the parking lot. That's what a leader is. Not someone that's sitting in a high chair calling orders. It's time for us to LOL. It's time for us to lead out loud. And there is a proven system to identifying a real leader. There is a proven system for identifying a real leader. Les and Leslie Parrott, they tell a story in their book called The Complete Guide to Marriage Mentoring. They tell a story that I want to share with you that illustrates my point. They tell this story about this young woman who's about my oldest son's age, who was getting ready to go to college, and she was filling out her college application. And when I was going to college, you had to write an essay. It had about 3 or 4 questions that you had to fill out. Why are you interested in our school? And what do you see yourself in 5 years? They had these questions that you had to fill out as a part of the application. And this young lady's heart sank when she read the one and only question on the application. The question read, are you a leader? Are you a leader? The young woman, being both honest and conscientious, she wrote no. She returned the application, and like most of us, she chalked it up that I probably won't get into that school. But in her mind, she knew that being honest was the right thing to do. Expecting the worst, she went to the mailbox one day, and there was a letter from this college. Kind of apprehensive about opening the letter. She took the letter and she went back inside, and she teetered between opening it and just throwing it in the trash. Because in her mind, she had already determined that she did get in, because she did not identify herself as a leader. Her parents convinced her, just open up the letter. What do you have to lose? She opens up the letter, and to her surprise, the letter read, Dear applicant, a study of all of our applicants revealed that this year our college will have 1,452 new leaders. It went on to say, we are accepting you because we feel it is imperative that they have at least one follower. The proven system for identifying a true leader is being able to honestly identify yourself as a follower first. Because in order to be a great leader, you first have to become a great follower. If you want to know what kind of leader I am, go back and trace who am I following. And the reason why we have a shortage of leadership is because we have a new generation of people that you can't tell nothing, that they don't need anybody else's help. They want to figure it out on their own. No, to find out if you're a good leader, trace who they're following. Yeah, preaching real good, yes sir. Everybody wants to lead, and nobody wants to follow. This generation, these millennials and the generation after them, it's like they dare you tell them anything. You can say, don't touch the stove, it's hot. And they touch it anyway. Oh, it is hot. Now you have third-degree burns and a scar for life when all you had to do was listen. As a leader, if we're going to lead out loud, our first responsibility is to be a follower of Jesus Christ. The world should be able to come into any of our churches and look at all of our leaders and say, I have a Fortune 500 company and I am paying $1.2 million. I need to know, are there any leaders? I'll be the first one to say, here am I. I will go. So you have to, the first responsibility as a leader or leading out loud is that you have to be a follower of Jesus Christ. It's sad to me that the secular world cannot come into the church and find what they need. Let's look at Matthew. I have a few scriptures I'm going to look at today. We're going to act as if we're in Sunday school. When I was growing up, we went to Sunday school every Sunday. Oh, my goodness. And we didn't have a choice. So we're going to have Sunday school today. Because a lot of churches now just don't have Sunday school. So let's go to Sunday school. Matthew chapter 4, verse 18 through 20. I'm going to read it from the New King James Version. And it reads, and Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brothers, Simon, called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were what? Fishermen. They were professional fishermen. Verse 19, then he said to them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. It has been said that a leader is one that has influence over others. And here it seems to me that Jesus is saying that if you want to be a leader, then the requirement is follow me. And if you follow me, I'm then going to give you influence with men. Not just influence for you to dictate what you want them to do to help build your brand, but that you may help lead them to me. Verse 20 said, they immediately left their nets and followed him. This is where I want to get to. They immediately left their nets and did what? Followed him. Let me say this. This was not somebody that they had never heard of. They had already talked. They already had previously heard of Jesus. They knew Jesus already because he had talked to Peter and Andrew. Somebody say, well, where is that? It's in John chapter 1, verse 41 and 42. Go read it. And you will see that they already knew Jesus. So it wasn't like they were hypnotized and didn't have any choice. It wasn't like they just followed someone they did not know. They said in John chapter 1 that he is the Messiah. They knew he was the Messiah. So there was no questioning who he was. So how do you lead out loud? Number one is you have to follow Christ without reservations. He says they immediately left their profession, left their supplies, left their equipment, left their way of making a living to follow him without reservations. Immediately means right then and there. They didn't question him like I've done. They didn't say, well, Lord, give me a sign. Well, how much is it going to pay? Uh-oh. They didn't say, how much are you going to pay me if I follow you? They didn't say, where are we going to sleep? What are we going to eat? It said immediately they what? They follow. And the reason why the secular world can't come into the church and find leaders is because we are not following Jesus without reservations. We have reservations. We got to get rid of the reservations. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. We, as believers of Christ, we got to understand that he is who he says he is, and that he can do what he says that he can do, that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. We got an LOL. Somebody put that in the comments, LOL. It's time to lead out loud. In other words, we as the believers of Christ, we should be the leaders for the world. They shouldn't have a shortage. This is our time and our season to be in charge of Fortune 500 companies. This is our season and our time for the people in the church to go out and lead these various companies and businesses. And the way we do it is by leading out loud. So how do you lead out loud? You got to follow Christ without reservations. One of the things that I'm really saddened about between my generation and this new generation is that they don't know how to go outside and have creativity. They don't know how to go outside in a Texas summer heat and make mud pies. And they would be so hard that you could cut them up into like pieces and serve them. We played cops and robbers. You put a little stick in your belt, and that was the gun. We didn't have toy guns. We didn't even have toy guns. We had sticks. And we would chase each other. We couldn't get in the street. We had a grass and dirt and potholes, and you riding a bike, freeze, freeze, woo, woo, woo. You're using your mouth as a siren. And one of the games I remember playing growing up was Follow the Leader. Yeah. See, the kids these days don't know about these type of games. It was called Follow the Leader. It's a children's game where everybody had to line up behind the leader. And the object of the game was you had to mimic and do everything that the leader did. And anybody who refused to do what the leader did was out. And can I tell you, a lot of you are out because you refuse to follow the leader, Jesus Christ. That's why you can't get promoted, because you are out. Anyone who failed to follow or do what the leader did was out of the game. But this is the part I like. When only one person, other than the person that was a leader, remained, that player became the new leader. Whew. What do you mean? This game called The Leader has been around a long time. And going back to the game, once it was a new leader, the game started over. And when you were the leader, you now wanted people to follow you. But if you were the one that got out because you didn't follow, when your time came, nobody followed you. And now you want to get mad and tell me, well, I'm not playing. But this game called Follow the Leader has been around a long time. In fact, Paul alluded to the game with the church at Corinth. What? Yes, he talked about this Follow the Leader game. In 1 Corinthians chapter 11, Jordan, in verse 1, it says, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ." He's saying, follow the leader. And he said, I'm a leader that's following a leader. So how can you be a leader not following a leader and think that you're going to be effective as a leader? Some of y'all missed it. The King James Version says, 1 Corinthians 11:1, "Be ye followers of me." Follow me as I follow Christ. So this is the pattern. If you are a leader, you should be following Christ. And then those that are following you, they have to also be following you. So you have the people here, then you have yourself, and then you have you as a leader following Christ. Seems like to me the recipe for being a great leader is being a great follower. New King James Version says, imitate me. Sound like follow the leader. Imitate me just as I also imitate Christ. Follow the leader. The second point I want to make in how do you lead out loud, Jordan, is you have to follow the leader until it becomes your turn to lead. Follow the leader until it becomes your turn to lead. Most leaders that are real leaders don't want a title. They only get a title because they were doing the work. And they were doing the work not looking for accolades or praises. They did it because they enjoyed serving. Follow the leader until it becomes your turn to lead. In other words, how do you trace a real leader? Is you see who they're following. And if they're not following anybody, then you should run. Because yes, well, they're following Christ. Yes, they're supposed to follow Christ, but there's a person that God has put in the earth that they're also following, as that person follows Christ. So you renegade leaders. You're not going to be successful because you're not following the pattern. So number one, we got to follow Christ without what? Reservation. Number two, we got to follow the leader until it becomes your turn to lead. Well, I don't really want to be a leader. Okay. But eventually it happens. It happens for those that are followers, those that are not looking for a title, those that are just happy to serve. Then one day you've been following and you look up and everybody else gone because their season is up. God is leading them in a different direction. They want to play a different game. They tired of this game. And you're the last one standing. And guess what? Now you're the leader. Let's look at Matthew chapter 20. Verse 25 through 28, the last scriptures we're going to look at. I'm going to read it from the New Living Translation. And it says, "But Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers in this world lord it over their people." In other words, those people that are leaders, they brag about it and they hold it over the common people. And officials flaunt their authority over those under them. You ever found any leaders just want to keep reminding you that they're the leader? I'm the boss. I'm the pastor. I'm the this. I'm the head of the PTO. I'm the city council person. I'm the mayor. Got to be careful when people just keep flaunting their authority over those under them. Verse 26, "But among you," these are the words of Jesus, "but among you it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be" what? "Your servant." 27, "And whoever wants to be first among you must become your slave. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others." Leadership is about serving others. Not about building your brand or getting a big platform or getting awards and recognition and accolades. He said, "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many." How dare you call yourself a leader, but you can't pick up a chair. You can't sweep the floor. You can't help with outreach, and you can't go to children's church. How you a leader and talk about, I don't do kids? What? How you a leader and talk about, I don't go around old folk. I can't go to the nursing home. I can't go to the jail. He said, "I didn't come to be served. I came to serve." So here Jesus, the ultimate leader, is teaching us how to lead out loud, and that is by being a servant. He was a chief servant. So the third way you lead out loud is you got to lead through serving. There's a quote said that leaders go where there are no trails, and they leave one for the rest to follow. As a leader, you're going to get cut in the thickets because you got to clear the trail. But you're not a leader sitting in a high chair dictating to telling everybody what to do. You're not a leader like we had a year ago, calling people out of their names and bullying people, causing an insurrection. That's not a leader. A leader, one who lead out loud, they follow Christ without reservations. I'm saved and I know I'm saved and I'm on my way to heaven. I'm going to say it again. I'm saved and I know I'm saved and I'm on my way to heaven. I don't have any reservations about who Jesus Christ is. He is the Son of the living God. Emmanuel, God that is with us. The Rose of Sharon, the Lion of Judah, the I am that I am. The Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I know who I am and I know whose I am. Then number two, you got to follow the leader until it becomes your turn to lead. If you can't follow nobody, you can't lead nobody. Ooh, I just said it. If you can't follow nobody, you can't lead nobody. Go somewhere and sit down until you learn how to lead, until you can serve without accolades, until you can serve without somebody calling your name every Sunday. It doesn't make sense that you get mad and leave the church because the pastor didn't recognize you for picking up a piece of gum paper on the parking lot in the way to church. Well, he didn't say nothing about me picking up that piece of paper. He shouldn't have to. Well, the pastor got to tell me what he needs. You got eyes. You can see the church, the grass need cutting. You can see we have an outreach coming up. Why the pastor got to call you and ask? Well, the pastor didn't call me. Did you call him? All right, let me move on. Then number three, you got to lead through serving. You cannot be a leader if you're not a follower and if you're not serving. Do all things as unto the Lord. You're serving as unto the Lord. I'm not talking about how much you pay. My kids are going through this phase, and everything we ask them to do, how much you going to pay me? I just paid you. You just ate. I just paid you. You got clothes on your back. I just paid you as you riding around on that bicycle I bought. How much you going to pay me? Nothing. I've already paid it. So as we're serving, we got to realize that Jesus has already paid the price. And we're paying a debt. We're trying to repay a debt that we can never repay. Times I played in churches and didn't get a penny, didn't ask for a penny. I was just happy that somebody wanted to hear me attempt to play. Gone to places and preached, was offered money and told them, no, you keep it. Why? Because I was serving. And now I believe that people who have been serving, you're about to be promoted. It's your season for promotion. Because you were serving, not looking for a title. You were serving, not looking for compensation. In other words, you were like the little girl filling out her college application. I'm not a leader, I'm just a follower. I'm trying to figure out how to get this following thing down. And once I get this down, then perhaps it'll be my turn to lead. Everybody's standing all over this house. Let's give God praise. Let's give God praise. Come on, we gotta lead out loud. Come on, we gotta lead out loud. We gotta let the world know there's no shortage of leaders. The leaders are in the house of the Lord. Come on, leaders. If you're a leader in the house of the Lord, if you know that you've been following, if you know you've been serving, if you know that you serve God without reservations, come on and make some emojis in that comment section. Come on. I'm going to love out loud. I'm going to live out loud. Then I'm going to lead out loud. I serve so faithfully that it speaks volumes. People get promoted because of their faithfulness, of their willingness to go above and beyond what is asked. being able to take initiative. People who, when they bring a problem, they also bring 3 possible solutions. This is your opportunity. You said, I want to lead out loud. The first thing you got to do is become a follower of Jesus Christ. And right now, if you would like to become a follower of Jesus Christ, all you have to do is repeat after me this little simple prayer. But it's not you just going through the motions of muttering the words. It is you believing in your heart that the words you are saying are absolutely true. You said, I want to lead out loud. I want to love out loud. I want to live out loud. Then come on and repeat after me. Father, I admit that I am a sinner, that I have sinned, that I made mistakes. Forgive me for all of my sins. I believe that you died on the cross, that you rose again just for me. Come into my heart, come into my life, and save me. I acknowledge that you are my Lord and my Savior. If you said that prayer, welcome to the family of God. You just became a leader by default of becoming a follower of Jesus Christ. Make sure you're being a good example. Make sure that you follow Christ without reservations. Make sure you are following a leader until it's your time to leave.
Thank you for joining us today at Community Impact Church Online. We hope you enjoyed the service. For the sermon, please visit our YouTube channel, CIC TV. Once again, we hope you enjoyed the service and join us next week as we continue to impact your life.